I mean, and then his alternate art when you level him up. Like, come on! We missed it by like 2 months! Just to show you what the game looks like at the high level, it's basically pinball with like anime chicks and some hot wolf guys. You're not supposed to understand what's going on screen, by the way. Just understand all these characters spawn more of these mini balls here and there that stack up to increase the hit meter, where if they launch off the flipper, it does like a cool effect and it does more damage. It's neat. Damage is stored in the balls. Exactly, Marky. The damage is stored in the balls. I do need another mobile gacha game to play because the one that I played for years, known as World Flipper, aka Hentai Pinball, ended last month. It's over. Like, they took the servers offline. They had a whole goodbye thing. You can't play the game anymore, which is sad because there were some really, really hot looking furry bait characters in this. There was this fucking like wolf swordsman, like king guy called Magnus, or not wolf, lion. He looked hot as fuck. Same thing with Rolf. Oh my god, Rolf. And then you know what sucks about it? There was a point where in the Japanese version, they were a whole year and a half ahead from the global release. Literally, if the game had existed just for like 1 or 2 months later, we would have gotten the White Day event banner, which had Rolf in it, which White Day, for what they had for the game, was like a romantic marriage lovey-dovey date day. You could date the fucking hot black wolf. He got all dressed up and bought you flowers. They would have had my entire life savings if they had followed through with that. I would have single-handedly saved the game for them. Okay, so that's not Rolf. What is... Oh, I have window capture on. Right, okay. This is Rolf. He came out like... He came out literally like 3 to 4 months after the game first dropped, and he changed the whole meta because his whole thing was like, you pierce through enemies, you build up like a power flip, and then you spin into enemies. Think of World Flipper as like a pinball gacha game. Pinball, but like you build characters. This is base Rolf. The Japanese version of the game got White Day as their own like little anniversary thing, so you could get a variant of Rolf. He got a whole different outfit and design, and I mean, and then his alternate art when you level him up. Like, come on! We missed it by like 2 months! Come on! You would have had my credit card! If I told you how much I spent for 10 pulls in that to get Rolf, you would be so mad at me. I'm embarrassed to say how much I spent on Rolf back in the day. World Flipper was really cool, though. I actually, you know what? I talk about World Flipper a lot. I kind of want to go over, like, someone did a really good review encapsulating the end of service of World Flipper, and I kind of want to watch over the video with you guys, because it was fun, because the game, like, went on for a good 2.5 years for me. I really liked it, so I kind of want to share it with you guys. It's something fun to watch. Unfortunately, there's not enough Rolf in this video for me, so I'm kind of sad, but, you know, regardless.
Trust me, you've never played a gacha like this before, and you never will, because this game has been terminated worldwide as of July 25th.
Yeah, I was so sad to log in and see that. Not regarding purchases. I was not purchasing anything at this point in the game, but seeing this pop up, end of service date, that really broke my heart. And you know what's sad about it? I still have World Flipper installed on my phone, and when I try to start it, the app just crashes immediately.
World Flipper is developed by a Japanese studio called Seatail, who only has World Flipper and another game called Jumping Rabbit, which also has been terminated. The game is published by
hold on,
Games, the same creators behind big titles such as
Why would you,
Lost,
if you make nothing but gacha games, why would you get rid of all of your gacha games? We're just gonna keep going with this.
The global ports of the game is handled by Gacha Games, which is a South Korean company.
Oh.
The lifespan of World Flipper ran from November 2019 to earlier this year, February. The advantage with this approach is that 3D graphics generally may not age too well over time, but pixel art is timeless. I really don't have any complaints.
I kind of like that approach to it. You know, I thought at first, you know, the whole pixel style was like, it's okay. But like it kind of makes it a bit more timeless with, you know, the sprites and then the little card animation images of the characters. I like that. There are different, like, I guess builds or archetypes or classes that you can use in this that help fulfill a certain need. And power flip builds are where you build a lot of hits that you build up on the hit meter, and it makes it so that the power flip activates and does more damage, and that all the damage and how you're going to win whatever encounter boss you're doing relies on that build. And Rolf's abilities not only make power flip more accessible, but make it so that when you do power flip, you pierce through enemies and you do more hits, so you can keep stacking up the power flip. And it was really, really cool to see, you know, not only, you know, an amazing furry bait character, but also one that's pretty pivotal in a lot of builds.
There is an element system where one element will deal 1.5 times damage to another, but there is no element disadvantage. So at worst, it
was also really fun too. Like, I know this isn't really talked about in this video, but I want to make it a point. The one aspect I really liked about it was optimizing team building per encounter, which, yeah, you know, some people already had guides on the best builds for like every boss, like end game stuff, super challenging mode stuff, time trial stuff. But like the one thing that I loved about it was the team building, because you have 6 like characters in the party. Based on the build that you were doing, if you were, say, doing like a skill damage build where you have someone who does like one big blast attack, you could have other characters in here have abilities that buff the main guy. And that's why a lot of people would use this like little 3-star lightning character called Shisuzu, because she would buff like the skill damage for the team leader, aka the person in this slot, and the damage that they do. So there was like some strategy to putting certain characters anywhere, instead of like, you know, the approach of like, oh, fill each of these slots with all of the elements. Well, you can do that, but like you want some synergy, and that's what I loved with it, like optimizing it for like the most damage for like the fastest time. It was like that's why I loved the game, because it was not only just fun, it was a little bit of like a challenge to see how quickly I could beat it. And I don't know why it hooked me that way, but that's how it did. Oh, there's Magnus. There's the other furry bait one. I don't think I have like a proper picture for him, but Magnus was pretty good. Surprisingly too, he was also a really, really good unit for fire skill damage. So everyone wanted to use him as well. So it's like, hey, they made the furry bait characters pretty useful. I'm happy about that.
Whenever you roll on the gacha, there is an animation of these presumably gachapon capsules falling down on something resembling a pachinko machine.
Serotonin from that. Oh, he got a 5-star!
With something genius and frankly quite evil thing that is that it's possible for the ball to miss the gold blocks. So
yeah, that's called blue balling. That happened to me a lot of times while pulling, where I just wait for the animation, hope that I get a 5-star, and then I get either a 4-star or nothing.
Fake out can happen where the ball weaves through all the shiny blocks.
Balling,
it just gives you a 3-star in the end. In fact, when both the JP and the global service announced the game's closure, both were notified 2 months before the game's termination.
Yeah,
and
it
the
was
in-app
sad.
purchases were disabled immediately after. A long notice and disabling the microtransactions? Now that's how you handle it. It makes absolutely no sense to still let players...
That's the other thing too. Whenever I was, I think they had just released Magnus or one of the other characters, and I was gonna go and get one of like the little bundles for trying to pull for him, and the little notification came up of like, hey, just so you know, the game is ending in 2 months. Before you go and spend money on this game, and they were very forward about that. That's how I like how World Flipper, or at least the team behind it, like handled the whole thing. Like that really was nice.
Pay money for something that just can't be used anymore.
Oh, bye. There he is, my husband. Where are you? Come back. Where's Rolf, my beloved?
Since I know you.
There you are. Unreasonable amount of money went into trying to get him. An unreasonable amount. The game just shut down, like fully. Servers down and everything. Like everything that you bought, everything that you earned cannot be seen and played again. It's gone. And that's what's kind of, you know, sad about it. But at the same time, you know, memento mori, you know, and to seize the day, carpe diem, enjoy like what you have when you have it. But it's also like kind of sad that like the only real remnant of the game are like, even at this point, like just videos that people have done about it. Like this video is a way to commemorate and remember that World Flipper was a thing. Oh yeah, I forgot to even mention, the video doesn't even mention this here. The World Flipper ended up having some collab crossovers with other trending animes at the time. So they had a collab with ReZero, so like a bunch of characters from that ended up being in this gacha game for World Flipper. After that, the big other collab they had was with Zombieland Saga, which if you haven't seen that, excellent series. If you love dubbed anime, it was so good dubbed. So fucking good dubbed. I will die on that hill. And then I think they had a collab for the JP version of the game where they collaborated with Black Clover, I think. They had a bunch of crossovers and collabs. Actually, I kind of want to show you guys. I know this is kind of getting to the end of the video, but I kind of want to, hold on. We have something fun I want to show you guys. So there was a little spreadsheet that I ended up following for the release of all these different, what was it? World Flipper banners and events. They did a spreadsheet for all the events and collabs and things they had throughout the span of the game. This was the collab they did for Zombieland Saga. Let me actually see banner rating. Oh, here we go. Here's the banners. So they'll show like the characters that you can get per banner. And it's actually really funny here because they'll have ratings for like, you should pull this or you should not pull this. So like a couple of notable ones. Everyone loved Boleto when she released. Everyone wanted Rolf. Literally, this banner is a must roll to try and get at least Rolf. Rolf is one of the best non-limited units in the game, even to this day. Like 10 fucking pull for Rolf. I pulled this banner so fucking much and lost so much money trying to get this guy right here. This is where we missed it. W Rolf. Even at 10, W Rolf basically completes sword power flip for wind. We just barely missed Rolf again. I think things will get to a point with even games like, because we see it a lot too with even not live service games, but games that have like multiplayer features in them. Like, I remember it was a very big moment when Halo's original Xbox 360 servers were going to go offline and everyone hopped on like the last day or the last few days to enjoy the last bit of matchmaking, the last bit of that feature before it's gone. So it makes me wonder, you know, will something similar happen to other live service games that we enjoy? The best thing that I could think of for me is like Destiny. I love Destiny and Destiny 2. There will eventually be a day where I think that game goes offline. Like that game will die one day. And it just makes me wonder, you know, what will everyone be doing in their like last few moments as the servers are online? It's really, it's just some interesting food for thought. You know, anything live service game or any live service media that ends up going away or ends and there's no real way to fully archive it. It's always interesting to see what it is in the last moments before it goes. Same thing with like Club Penguin too. It just kind of reminds you of this like somber note of like, hey, not everything is forever, but also the times that we enjoy while we were here are pretty fun. And there's a way to archive that, obviously, but there's no way to have it forever. That's just how it is.
As always, thanks for watching and have fun out there.
Wow, he told me to have fun. What a great guy. That was really cool. I mean, that was a little bit of a somber video overall, but that's just kind of, you know, the reality of it, unfortunately. One thing that I will say on a good note, I'm glad that this was like my first gacha game I really invested time into. Because there are plenty of gacha games out there, and I never really got into any of them. I never really understood the point of it, or really enjoyed them for what they were, because they just didn't really hook me. But for some reason, World Flipper was able to do that for me. World Flipper, like, I was able to enjoy it. And the fact that people are saying that it's a pretty decent gacha game out there, that's something at least for me to be kind of proud about. That one of the first gacha games that I played was a pretty good one. It obviously wasn't the best. It's a gacha game at the end of the day, but I still enjoyed it for what it was, and I'm happy about it. So, you know, even though I might not be able to go back and play it, and yeah, I did sink a lot of money into it, I had a lot of fun doing it, and that's all that matters. You had a lot of fun, you think about it for that, and you just enjoy it. So regardless, that's the whole talk that I wanted to have about World Flipper. Wow, we ended up doing this for our whole stream today. But hey, we can still hang out and chat and chill, because I like doing that. I like hanging out with y'all. I like hanging out with y'all. Y'all are really neat.